All right, everybody, take two. My name's Nick. I'm with the DH podcast, and what we're going to start bringing you now is something called the Hi5, which is 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's going to be a video series, highlighting some of the biggest things that are happening in sports, why you should care about it, and how we can make it a little bit better by breaking it down in depth. So, my co-host Matt and I, we have a weekly show where we usually ramble on for an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes about anything and everything that's happening out in the sports world, but once a week doesn't cover everything. So we need a way to bridge the gap to be able to still bring you the quality content that our community wants and our community deserves, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're bringing you the right content as well, because if 6 days from now we're talking about Patrick Mahomes' contract, well, going to be a little outdated. So, of course, we just launched a new episode. This is for July 10th, and we're calling this the Hi5 series. So, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the first one today, Friday, July 10th, and we're going to start with Mahomes here. And this is actually a little bit of behind the curtain for everybody here, that this is my second take on this. So, I tried another app, and I went on for like 10 minutes, because we're actually going to try and keep this pretty short. So, it was only like 10 minutes. And then what happened was, oh no, I didn't know that the app I downloaded could only do a minute and a half. So, as you will come to learn, that is some of the dumb stuff that only I can do. But what we're going to do is, and as you can see, I don't have anything fancy around me here on YouTube. That's mainly because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So any producers or editors that want to help me out, help Matt out, please, by all means, you're welcome. So what we're working with the whiteboard. Trusty whiteboard. Can't really go wrong. My handwriting is worse than the doctor's, so it's why I'm not really going to show it off very much. But before we start, if you like the content that we're going to be producing and you want to see something different, or you want to see something more, or you want us to talk about a specific topic, you got to let us know. So at DH_podcast, Twitter, Instagram, you can find the podcast itself on any platform whatsoever. Spotify, iTunes, you name it. Those are the only two that really matter. We're on Anchor as well. I've heard some about that as well. That's kind of how we built some international following, believe it or not. We have a small core group of our great friends out in Ireland. So, even when you're watching this across the pond, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, we're going to get into it. Hi5, topic number 1. It is Patrick Mahomes. I love this contract so much, not only because he is vastly deserving of $50 million a year. So if you break it down, he's going to get paid out in tiers, but it evens out to over $50 million, $50.3 million per year, over $1 a minute, which is sensational. I mean, he will literally drop money on the floor or give money to his TikTok-loving brother, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Andy Reid's happened for him. He's wearing Tommy Bahama all over the place, and it is a blast for everybody. So Patrick Mahomes joins an elite conversation of people that have had an over 10-year contract. We've seen 4 of those before. 3 of them actually had years under them, whereas Brett Favre's was literally just called a lifetime contract. So if you really don't care about years and you know you're sailing off into the sunset, couldn't think of anything better. So, number 1 is his first year, though. Actually, his first signing bonus is $63 million. That's impeccable in itself. Now, Matt, my co-host, and I, we disagree on this a little bit, and we go into it a little bit more in-depth in the show itself. But this right here, this is an awesome reset button for owners across the board. So if you want to help out with your cap space so you can go out and, maybe I want to sign Cam Newton for less than $3 million, sweet, let me go out and do that, that you now have the chance to do that. And what's going to happen here is we're going to see, what I mean by checks and balances, we now get to see Dak, who is not on Patrick Mahomes' level, he's hitting a ceiling. So Jerry's going to say, no, you are not worth Patrick Mahomes' level. You got your top 3 guys that are up there for that. Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and a lot of people are putting Lamar Jackson in there. He's coming up for contract the season after this one, going out of his rookie deal into his first real deal of his contract And that's where we'll see the money start flowing in, because you have guys that are veterans that like Dak Prescott, like Phil Rivers, so many more, where they want to continue to take that step and make more money, like Kirk Cousins. But you're not going to see Kirk Cousins, that contract, that dumb, boneheaded contract, have it for so long. This is such a stupid contract. It blows my mind. I would have rather gambled on a rookie, but that's how it is. You'd rather pay for adequacy and being average than taking a gamble. Or you could take a gamble, trade up above Patrick Mahomes, and get Mr. Trubisky. I don't know. Take your pick. There's always a gamble. Clearly, as a Browns fan, I know the process of a poor gamble. So whether it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, all these guys are coming up from contract after this next season. So after the final 16-game season, we're going to see these guys coming up. They're going to want big money. They're not coming close to $50 million. And if they do, I'd be extremely surprised, because then that means this theory is completely wrong and it's just crumbling everywhere, which old takes expose me. That's fine. So you'll see a ceiling hit to where Dak denied $45 million a year. The next deal that he's going to get will not be $50 million. Or if it's anywhere close to $50 million, it'll be a 3-year deal with a team option. And he might fight for the player option, but he's getting more of the money that he wants, so Jerry will take back that option. That's something that can happen. Number 2 on the Hi5, the Big Ten was, as Matt Berry put it perfectly today, started the domino effect. The domino effect today is that the Big Ten said that all of their schools in the conference would only play within the conference for all fall sports. So, Ohio State, you wanted to watch them play Oregon, gone, not happening. You're going to get to see them play their normal in-conference game. And what it sounds like at the moment, it's not confirmed, but now they're going to be playing out of conference as well. So when you get your bigger conferences out of these Power 5 that have multiple divisions, they're just going to be playing intra-division games. So interdivision, intra-division, whichever one is which, you get it. So for the example that I just gave in Ohio State, not only are they still going to be playing Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, they're now also going to be playing and steamrolling people like Northwestern. Sure, by all means, go for it. Maybe even kicking in Iowa while you're out there. I don't care. I like this because for these bigger schools, it does not allow them to get these hunky-dory, first 3 games of the season where you're playing FAU, you're playing Little Sisters of the Poor. It's not going to work. And so that's where we now get to see, oh, well, now they lost a couple games. They still might make the top 4. They still might make the playoffs, but it's going to look a little bit different. And Ohio State, what they did today was they took a step farther than the Ivy League, because the Ivy League, to everybody's dismay, is not ruling out playing in the fall. They just said that initially the conference themselves are basing their rulings off of what the schools say. So they're asking the schools to take initiative, whereas the Big Ten just got all the schools together on a Zoom call, made the decision themselves. Whereas you're watching this on Friday, July 10th, or over the weekend at some point in time, and this happened Thursday afternoon, all Thursday night. Those other 4 conferences were having that call. So obviously, Ivy League is not in that Power 5, but the Pac-12 is going to have some tougher decisions to make, because they're going to be pressured to not play more than the Big Ten in the Midwest. And then down south, you have the SEC, where they just want to let people in. Because just Alabama football alone, not even counting any of the other schools that nobody knows that are also in Alabama, they alone bring in $2 billion into the state off of revenue alone. It's a cash cow. They don't want to lose out on that cash cow. So, that's that. On to number 3. Roger Goodell, in his infinite wisdom, banned jersey swapping. I mean, are you kidding? Are you serious? These guys are battling it out like Roman and Greek titans for 4 quarters, sweating, bleeding, grabbing each other, pushing each other all over. If you're going to contact COVID, you've got it in that case in point. You've got it. So, now, what we have is we have a clear line in the sand. Mark it right here. I clearly can't do this well. Mark it right in the sand that the owners who use Roger Goodell as a mouthpiece because that's his job, they've made it a point saying, well, we want to look good from a PR perspective, but we still want to play so we can still make money or at least come as close to breaking even as possible. So if you ever thought that the owners cared at all about the players, maybe a couple of them do. Vast majority of them do not at all. Not at all. You want the greenbacks, and that's all we care about. I get it. Just come out front and say it next time. Because if I was hitting somebody on a football field for 4 quarters and Myles Garrett and Lamar Jackson can't jersey swap, now we have to stay 6 feet apart. I sacked you 3 times in the second half, and plenty of close contact there, but no jersey swapping, no actually camaraderie or sportsmanship. Definitely not allowed. It makes zero sense. Another example of why Roger Goodell is an absolute imbecile. On to number 4. We're actually taking it back to college basketball. Zion Williamson, stepdad. So, his stepdad took $400 million. Or actually, no, cross that. The whiteboard lies, my terrible handwriting lies, excuse me. 400,000, 400 million, you can never have. 400,000 he took in cash as well as other incentives from a marketing agent that was working for Duke University. So what we now get to see play out is a weird mix because Zion now makes so much money that whatever these federal courts are going to come down on him with, he's just going to pay it for his stepdad. And then maybe he'll still toss in another extra $400,000 for him at the end. I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. The reason why we pull this dumb stuff out from under the rug and we bring it onto the light. Because now that players can actually make money off of their likeness and off of their image, we'll see those Zion Williamson jerseys fly off the shelves, and then he actually gets a check for it. So you don't have to have marketing agents that are sneaky, stealthier on the background, paying people through back alley methods, or like Nick Saban, your family owns a Mercedes dealership. You really think that we can't see who's buying the cars or who's getting massive discounts on the cars? I mean, it's ludicrous, but nobody cares about it. And neither should we at this point. Zion's in the NBA. The only people that can now be punished is Duke. And they will be punished. They already have been. They will be punished again. I don't care about them. They are a cash cow for not only their athletics department, but their actually educational, the superb educational department is bringing in tens of millions. Whereas 400,000 is a drop in the bucket to give an 18-year-old who is and was arguably top 5 most prolific high school athletes you've ever seen. And you can see why, because Adam Silver moved the rules around in the NBA bubble to let the Pelicans in. It wasn't just, nope, we're cutting it off at the top 8 seeds. Well, we should give somebody that's within 3 games of the 8 seed the chance at the title. And lo and behold, the Pelicans coming in at the 10th seed. They get a chance to actually stay around for more than 2 weeks. Will they? We don't know. But you can see they want the ratings, they want the revenue, they want people buying this stuff. And why wouldn't you want to watch Zion yam all over the Grizzlies? They're going to lose those games because the Grizzlies are a better rounded team. But I digress. That is another high 5 for a later date. And of course, as this comes down and as you get more news, you'll have another high 5 talking about it as well. Number 5 to round out the high 5 for today, July 10th, is UFC 251. United Arab Emirates. We have one of the best main cards we've seen in quite a long time. But leading off your main fight of the night, game-bred fighter, Jorge Masvidal, as well. And now, what I love about this is that people think that it's a massive deal that he, took this in short notice. And yeah, we should definitely be happy that he did that. But at the same point in time, before COVID happened, he had been training for a fight this weekend as well. So it's not like he was just chugging beers all day. He was still training, still making it, and he knew that he could lose those 20 pounds in 2 weeks. He knew that he could make weight, and as we'll see tomorrow, he will make weight. So he'll be facing Usman as your main fight for the night. But you also have Paige Van Zandt, who is an underdog, who I would place money on as well. You have Jose Aldo, who is a huge, especially in the MMA world, he brings in revenue alone, let alone all these other incredible names that we're going to see. And not only are you going to see them, you're going to hear them, especially Holloway. Holloway's got that wingspan that, I mean, he fought a man that he was 5 inches taller than. Now, he still lost that fight. That was a couple years ago. But that wingspan, you're going to hear it. Shin kicks, elbows, he'll let you know that his presence is there. But for those of you, for being here today, I greatly appreciate you taking the time. We will see you on Monday with another Hi5. Have an incredible weekend. Pay for the pay-per-view. Splurge yourself. You deserve it. Stay safe, everybody.